The single most important in-school influence on students is teachers. If you change teacher behavior in a positive way, particularly their instructional skills and delivery systems and interactions with kids, that can only be a good thing. The Arizona Ready-for-Rigor grant is a 5-year program which was awarded in 2010 and will end in the school year 14-15 to Mary Lou Fulton Teachers College. And it's a grant that really focuses on improving teacher and administrator effectiveness in order to improve student achievement. We had schools start at different time periods. As I said, we had 17 schools in the first year. We had another 30 or so in the second year, and then we added the final 15 in year 3. So we had schools at different places in implementation across the first 3 years of the grant. So it really wasn't until this past year that we had everybody who had been implementing more than a year, obviously some 3 or 4.
At the end of the first year, we had a really honest conversation around the table, and it was a hard one, but we said, okay, so now with what we know, is this something we want to continue? And it was unanimous. We knew that all of this work would find its way to strong student achievement. And so we were making progress in that direction, but then it all came together and every school just blew it out of the water last year.
What attracted me to working within this grant was the opportunity for that teacher level support. Having been a former teacher, first grade, second grade, and fourth grade teacher, I had grown up as a teacher in a system where the support was provided to me, but it was not regularly provided. And what I saw in this grant was weekly professional development provided for teachers with ongoing support, and I felt that was a really unique piece, so that it became a community of learners among leadership within a school as well as career teachers, as opposed to once a year getting an evaluation that had little impact on my professional growth. What we've been able to do through this work is look at those times we come together as professionals and provide a lot of structure to those professional conversations. We look at data collaboratively, we unpack our instruction, we open our doors to other educators to come in and provide support or to showcase what we're doing. And I think that's a unique opportunity. It's something that education is working towards, but as individuals who have embodied a classroom with 4 walls and 1 teacher, that's not always easy as a teacher to do. So I think teachers that are involved in this initiative have an opportunity to broaden their professional perspectives and work collaboratively with others in unique ways.
The number one thing I've seen that has impacted our school is the collaboration. The mentor teachers as well as the master teachers provided this wealth of knowledge through our textbooks, our curriculum textbooks, and we were reading and gaining this professional knowledge from the textbooks and applying that in our classroom. We've seen the attitude from the students. They're motivated, they want to come to school, they want to learn, and so they're here and they know that something exciting is going to happen.
The good news is that we have seen progress everywhere. So with the right support and the right resources and the leadership to help with that, you can make a difference.
Schools are now being held accountable not only by the teacher, but by themselves to make sure that if teachers are not performing well, they're getting support and it's ongoing and it's collaborative. In addition, our teachers that are functioning at high levels are being continued to be pushed in their practice. They're not just left to the side to say, well, you're fine, you don't need anything, or we can't do anything for you. It's opened up the opportunity for dialogue at all levels so that everyone is working at their own rate. We have a ways to go in all of this, but I see a definite shift in looking at this as support. I've been out in the sites commenting as they're in their weekly professional development, their cluster meeting, looking at student work directly. And every time they come for professional development, it's based around the student work from their classroom. So the focus on students has been extremely laser focused at the student level, as well as we're seeing students put the learning that their teachers are getting into action through evidence of their work. They're applying strategies they've learned from the professional development the teachers have used, and it's providing them an opportunity to grow in their own learning.
If you do embed professional development in the workday, if you do give teachers multiple career paths, if you do give incentives for performance, what will that do to teacher attitudes and behaviors and eventually to student achievement? And that's an important thing to look at, because the thing we need to think about in our public school systems are, what are the ultimate results and effects of schooling? What do kids keep after 12 or 13 years at the K-12 level?
This past year was enormous. Our growth under the AZ Learns achievement profile, we went up 43 points. We went from a C school to an A school. So it's fantastic to actually see the outward recognition come along with the good work that we know that we've been doing. And it has a lot to do with the back and forth motion with teachers going into classrooms. So we could hear it in the feedback that teachers were giving students. We could see that interaction between student and teacher and see that they were really understanding. But that came from those rich collaborative discussions that teachers were having together, and then they were able to bring that wealth, that collective knowledge and strategies and instructional practice right to the students.
So this isn't done in silos. This is done collaboratively with the team, where principals are working directly with all the evaluators that give support to teachers ongoing throughout the year, as well as they're looking at their practice together. So nobody's left in isolation. We're learning as we go, building upon the expertise within the university, collaborating with faculty in building data systems and data processes that impact teachers and students positively, in looking at multiple contexts of their work, knowing that the work that they do does not just get measured in one day on one test. It's an ongoing process. Students are never done.
A lot of times, like the teachers at my old school would just get kind of lost and maybe never advance or progress as a teacher, because no one was really pushing them to do better, or maybe they're doing a great job, but what else can you do differently or better, or like I said, ways of thinking. So it's been good, and I think it's been a very great learning experience for me. I think it's made me a better teacher.
I feel like I learned what good teaching looks like. I mean, obviously when in the master teacher role, I had the opportunity to see all kinds of teachers in action, and I am lucky enough that I actually got to take all of that knowledge and go back into the classroom and use what I learned.
We would very much like to continue. As we've had conversations with some of our districts, there are some of the things that we've provided in the grant that we're looking to see what might be ways that we could continue offering that service or that assistance in the future. And even separate from grant funding, how else might the university do that? And that's why some of these networks, these alliances, these partnerships are very, very important to follow to fruition, because things come out when people get together and talk about what's possible, and we hope that that would be the case with ASU continuing in our partnerships.